Good morning, America. How are you? Monday Morning Rail. Hi, I'm Denny Jelsma, and I'm at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum. And today is Monday, and you know what we always do on Monday? You guessed it. We do show and tell. And today we got a very exciting show at Show and Tell. And Show and Tell is always brought to you by Jelsma Graphics, the people that make all the railroad embroidered clothing. Since 1985, almost 40 years of bringing you embroidered clothing. So go to jelsma.com, that's Jelsma, and look up all the embroidered railroad clothing, over 1,500 logos. And with all that being said, Show and Tell starts right now. It's Show and Tell. It's Monday morning, and we're at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. And every Monday morning we do Show and Tell, and Show and Tell this morning, I feel we've got a very exciting show because it's one of my favorite trains. Now, you've heard me say that a lot. I got a lot of favorite trains. I love the Wabash. I love the Seaboard. I love the Union Pacific. I could go on and on. The Burlington. But the Illinois Central has a special place in my heart. They ran 3 trains across Iowa from Chicago to Sioux City, Iowa, and a lot of people don't associate the Illinois Central with Iowa trains. It's usually north-south. But the train we're going to talk about is the city of Miami. And if you're a local Miamian, you would say Miami. But anyhow, we're going to talk about the city of Miami. And what we have right here is the original city of Miami. This train was inaugurated on December the 18th, 1940. And it was an all-coach train that left Chicago, went to Birmingham, to Jacksonville, and then on the Florida East Coast down to Miami. The first color scheme, and they really made it, try to get the local colors, and they had orange and green, and these cars were really stunning, and the engine had a wave on it, and it was just really a gorgeous train. You got to remember, in the 40s, most of the cars were kind of Pullman green, and that was kind of it. And so this was so stunning, and it was an all-coach train. And they advertised it was only one night out, and left Chicago, and you spent one night on the train, and then you ended up in Miami. And this train right here had 2 really significant cars, and that was the Palm Grove, and that was the dining car. And then the observation car was called the Bamboo Grove. And this car still is in existence, and it is in the Daytona Beach area. A condo has this car, and they have it next to the condo, and that's their recreation center. And our club went down, and we did a visit to look at the Bamboo Grove. And they stayed in this green and orange with the red stripe for a good 4 years, not quite 4 years. Towards the end of the war, they started phasing the green and orange out. Some rumors say that they ran out of green paint because it went to the Army, but who knows. And Illinois Central's typical colors were the chocolate and orange and the chocolate brown. And then this here is a copy of the Bamboo Grove when it was in the chocolate brown after Rolette towards the end of the war. And also they added a red light marker to this car because Atlantic Coastline had a ruling that all of the passenger trains had to have a red marker on the end, either in the gate or on the top. And so the original car didn't have that. They added that about 4 years later. But this is the color, and these are the two cars in their two different paint schemes. And you could see this is the coach that they ended up in the chocolate, famous chocolate. Now, the city of Miami ran this coach, and it was like every third day. Sometimes they'd run it 2 days, get to Miami and turn it around right away. But they played with the schedule during the war. And in 1949, because of the popularity, they added the Pullman sleeper. And when they added the Pullman sleeper, the train really hit. I call the famous. It became really famous. I personally love the green and the orange more so than the chocolate, just because to me this is the city of Miami. But then time goes on. Now, a lot of people will argue who was the premier train for the Illinois Central. The Pan Am Limited, which I have the ob car here, this, according to the corporate, was their main train, and that went from New Orleans to Chicago, and it was all Pullman, first class all the way. And its counterpart was coach, was the city of New Orleans, which you've heard me talk about every Monday morning, was the city of New Orleans. And so you look at these two. This is the Pan Am Limited, the Gulfport, they had two of them, and the Bamboo. In my opinion, the city of Miami was their main name train, but then that's my opinion. The Illinois Central, the corporation, this was their premier #1 train. But both of them were right up there. I like to throw in the Hawkeye from Chicago to Sioux City, but then it's not quite the city of Miami or the Pan Am. And so these were very luxurious trains. Of the Florida trains, and there was a lot of Florida trains out of Chicago, the city of Miami was #1. It just was. If you wanted to leave Chicago and go to Miami or go anywhere in Florida, you wanted to book the city of Miami. Now, this was just showing you the difference, in the colors, which once again, my favorite is the green and the orange. What I want to do is just throw in all these passenger trains, is that the Coach Yard out of Pasadena, California, they make brass cars. They just brought in the Seaboard Silver Meteor and the Silver Star car sets, and all I want to say is they're absolutely gorgeous. They're totally sold out. Jelsma Graphics has 9 cars left, so if you want a car, you better call, because they're going fast. Over the weekend I sold two cars, and so I got an example of two coaches. One is a Pullman Standard. This came online. The only Pullman Standard they actually bought. They got a few cars from the C&O, but they mostly Seaboard went with Bud out of Philadelphia. And this is just a regular coach. This is a 52-seat Pullman Standard, but what was so unique here is they had a lounge in the center, and they had seats, so you could sit in this little lounge. And here again, they tried everything to accommodate the coach passenger with a mid car lounge, which is really good. And that's the way it is. That's show and tell. at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, where the sun always shines and running train is an absolute pleasure in peace and harmony and air-conditioned comfort.